In this video, we are going to talk about how WSO2 Integrator's MI component, in other words, WSO2 Micro Integrator component, can be used to interoperate with the Ballerina programming language. You can use WSO2 MI component to develop your integrations using a low-code graphical interface. So if you visit to wso2.com/integrator and navigate down to this Explore WSO2 Integrator section, you can go to this download button to download the runtime for the WSO2 micro integrator, and that will be the runtime that you will be deploying somewhere, such as in your virtual machines or in a remote machine somewhere or in a AWS or Azure infrastructure. To develop your integrations, you have two options. The one is the Integration Studio tooling, which is the older Eclipse-based tooling provided by WSO2, and you can use that to develop your integrations. And however, WSO2 has released a MI extension for VS Code for you to develop your integrations using low code and code view of the MI Synapse domain specific language as well. So in this video, we are going to look at how we can use this MI extension for VS Code and use the tooling aspect to integrate MI with Ballerina. So if you just navigate to this, so just a quick snapshot of what we are going to build. So this is the low code approach of the VS Code MI extension. And you can also click on here to look at the corresponding domain specific language, which is the Synapse language that Micro Integrator is based on. So this is what we are going to build today. So with this in mind, I'm going to just quickly bring a, a new window into the picture. And so I already have got this MI extension installed. However, how you go about doing that is like you go to this extension section. And so let me take this out for a while. So under the extension section, if you just go and search for micro integrator, you will be able to download this extension. So I have already got this thing downloaded, but just keep a note on this extension name, micro integrator. However, in future, there's a possibility that WSO2 might rename this to something else, like WSO2 integrator. Just if you just couldn't find the micro integrator at some point, just if you can search integrator, you will be able to download micro integrator. And note, there is also something called Ballerina integrator. So we'll come to this in another video. So you can just go ahead and install this. So once you install it, you will be able to see an icon of micro integrator. But if you're interested in installing Ballerina integrator as well, you can do so. And in that case, you will also see another icon here. So this is the place that once you click on will give you uh, a panel like this: open MI projects and create new project. So what we are going to build is this, right, in a low code approach, but at the same time the code or the Synapse code will be generated behind the scenes as well. So this video is about integrating MI with Ballerina. So let's talk very quickly about Ballerina. So Ballerina is a programming language which is highly optimized for integration scenarios, which fills the integration cap. If you just go into ballerina.io, you'll be able to learn a lot about Ballerina. You can download it, you can go for examples and learn about various useful applications to develop and common scenarios that you come across in integration problem. And this is also developed by WSO2. So this is a programming language, right? So if you go into example section, you will be able to see various examples on, how to create various programs for different integration scenarios. And it's a general purpose programming language though, but highly optimized for integration. So this is a pro code approach for integration, but WSO2 started developing a low code approach for this Ballerina as well, which is what they're calling as Ballerina Integrator, or in short, BI. So if you want to develop low-code applications, you can start with BI. You can also start with MI. So if you do with a BI, you'll be able to start your integrations in a low-code manner. And then if you want to do some serious coding, you can switch to the code view and keep continuing developing your Ballerina code. But in MI, the things are a little different because the code that generates is not a conventional programming language, but it's an XML, which is a domain-specific language. So you can also do your pro code development using DSL, but it's really not the pro code because it's a DSL. Anyhow, there is an advantage in using either technology. So what we'll be focusing on how to bring both technologies together, how to bring the MI world and the Ballerina world to work together is what we are going to talk about today. And this will open up quite a lot of possibilities when it comes to the MI world, because you can leverage the MI's capabilities, and also you can leverage the Ballerina capabilities, as well as Ballerina's connectors and plethora of connectors that are available. You'll be able to use it. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to close this off, and once you are in this view, you'll be able to see this uh, uh, various examples. You can start from there as well. So, but I'm going to start a new project and then say uh, Ballerina interop uh, interop. So let's use that, and I'm going to choose a location for my uh, this thing. So let me use this. So I have already created one, but let's create another one called in my Ballerina interop. So I'm going to create that, and I'm going to use that folder and click create. So once you create it, and as you can see, micro integrator runtime is there, all of that. So if you go about installing this for the very first time, and if you don't have anything else like the Java installed or the micro integrator runtime installed, the the extension itself will help you install the Java and download the micro integrator runtime for you to set it up. Okay, so once you are there, and I just created my project. So once you successfully create the project, it's going to shift to a new view here, so that you'll be able to see, you'll be able to create your new project types and so forth, right? So what I want to now do is create a simple REST API, and then that REST API is going to pass an XML, and that XML now we are going to take that XML and we are going to pass that to Ballerina, and you can then manipulate that in Ballerina and then get the result back. So you can do all of that in Micro Integrator or MI, which is just fine, but there can be situations where things can be done quite easily with Ballerina. So that's when interoperability of MI and Ballerina comes into the picture, and can become a useful tool in your integration arsenal. Okay, so let's go and create a new API. So I'm going to call this MI Bal interop service, something like that. And I'm gonna say this as price calculation. Okay, and click create. So once you create it, as you can see, it just created a new thing with a service with a one resource there. So you can modify this, you can delete this. I'm gonna edit this and call this a post method, and yeah, and leave it like that, and then I'm going to update it. So as you can see, it just changed to post, and then going into that, like clicking on that particular resource, you'll be now you'll now be able to implement what this resource is supposed to do, right? And just to show you some quite easier ones, you can click on this plus button and it will show you all the mediators and things available in MI. And then let's say I want to first, because this is a post, I want to do the log. If you click on the log, you can just add a message, or you can say, okay, I want to open the entire payload just to see what is there. So very simple. And then I can respond this. I can respond whatever comes to this as is and get back. But this is not what we want. So the payload will come at this point and it will log here. And at this point, I want to call a Ballerina module. So now, which means I need to create a Ballerina module, right? So how do I do that? So I can go back to my home page. You can see my overview page shows all the components that I have created, and deployment section shows you various ways to deploy the MI. But you can just go to the add artifact. There are various things that you can do here. You can create an API automation. We just did API. You can also use artificial intelligence for your coding purpose, which is what WSO2 calls as AI for code. We're not going to use that today because I want to focus on this Ballerina thing. So here you will be able to see various things. And for you to traditionally in MI, how you extend your MI flow, integration flow with some complex logic is by implementing a class mediator, which you have to do it in Java. And then you can, plug that additional plugin in your flow, and it will do the job for you. But Ballerina is also a technology that WSO2 created, so it's useful that MI interoperate with Ballerina as well. So now you see something called Ballerina module. So if you click on that, you can give a name to this. So I'm gonna call these price uh, calculate, something like this. Okay, and then click create. So if you do that thing, it's gonna shift to a different view. As you can see, price calculate hyphen module dot bal, and it will give you a default implementation as well, so which says calculate the total, and there is an XML. You can change this, but I'm gonna stick to this particular example. Here you're going to get an invoice as an XML. Now all of these are Ballerina syntax, right? So calling a function called calculate total, and there is an annotation called MI operation. This is what does the magic, and when you build this particular module component, you will be able to call this particular function from the MI end. So here in this case, the invoice is the XML. Out of the entire payload of that invoice XML, it is going to fetch the price tags of the XML and read all the price XML elements. So under that XML element, you are looping each individual element, and then doing calculation. You are taking that element's value out to a price, and then you are just collecting that as a sum, and then you are assigning that to a total, and that total is now returned as an XML in this format. This is the total value that you just calculated, and you returned this XML. Pretty simple. So I'm not going to modify this, so because I want to show you the flow. And then you have this build Ballerina module. So when you do this thing, it will download Ballerina if you don't have it already, or if you don't have Ballerina Integrator installed, it will also download that uh, and do the necessary housekeeping related work for this. So now see, it says Ballerina module built successfully. So now let's go back to our uh, resource implementation and then click on the plus button. And if you just navigate down, scroll it down, you'll be able to see this calculate total, which we just implemented. This price calculate and this calculate total function is available. And if you just happen to do any modification, you can also refresh here and it will automatically build. if you just call on this, if you click on that, you will be able to see uh, it assigns output variable name by default, which is the output, the variable name will have whatever gets returned. So in this case, it will have this value stored, and the invoice is the example that you need to pass here. So because it is a, you know, an XML value, so I need to just do this uh, dollar body slash the entire thing, and I can add that. And when you do that thing, you'll be able to go and check what it gets added here. And I will go on here, and usually you can also make changes here. Actually, you need to have this as a within the parentheses. Okay, so now you have this. So at this point, the payload remains the same. So whatever gets returned from this module will get assigned to a variable. So if you just do another log here, you'll be able to see the same payload which you had received in the resource. But that's not what we want. I want to change the payload to something else, right? I want to change the payload to what is getting returned from this particular module, right? And for that, when you click on this plus button, you can select the payload, and this payload is going to be an XML. I know that it's XML, so I can select that. And then here in this section, I can select on this function and then go on to this variable. And there you see this price calculate variable, and the payload is what I need to add there. And click on that. And I can then do a quick respond. So I can add a detail there, but I'm going to skip that. And pretty simple, right? So that's all I have done. So I can just go about look at the XML configuration, and this is what it has written. As you can see, the payload factory formats it, and here you see this price calculator. This is the magic that the internal works that WSO2 has done with micro integrator interoperability with the Ballerina, and it automatically makes this available for you. So you can go and figure out this work by going through this documentation here. So if you go to mi.docs.wso2.com, go search for Ballerina here, and you'll be able to come to this Ballerina module section. You'll be able to see just what I did. You'll be able to follow through. There is another way to do that. I'm not going to show you today, but just for the completion purpose, you can also, if you have Ballerina installed separately, you can pull this tool called MI module generation tool, and then you can build your code with this, and then you can build it uh, with this particular command, and then you can import, that build command will create a zip file, and then you can import that as a new connector and make it available, and then you will be able to see that the same thing, but all of that is very well integrated in this step using that build function that you saw here, which makes it easy. So now I can just run this. So if I just click on the the run button, you'll be able to see the micro integrator is going to get started, and it's going to build my code. Might take a little bit of time to do that. Okay, it's still building. So what I want to quickly, until that happens, tell you is that this particular functionality opens up a lot of possibilities because Ballerina itself has a lot of connectors. So in this code, you'll be able to use all those connectors, all those additional modules that or packages that Ballerina has, and which opens up a lot of possibilities to be uh, executed within micro integrator. If you just go to Ballerina Central, I just say, you'll be able to see a lot of connectors and stuff here. For example, if I just search for Kafka, you'll be able to see a Kafka connector. And all of these, now if you just click on this, you'll be able to see some examples also how to use that particular package uh, in Ballerina, for example, this step. Okay, so let's go back. I believe it is started. Yeah, it looks like it is started. And as you can see, you also got this particular price calculation. So I can click on the try it now, and I'm going to send an XML, and I need to send an XML payload for this. And the payload that I'm going to send is, let me quickly find that out. Okay, this one. Oops, I just did it in the wrong place. Okay, let's. Okay, so now this is the one. So now if you just go to this invoice, which is this entire thing, in this entire thing, it's gonna search for this price tag, and each price element is gonna loop through and sum it. And that's what it's going to do. So if I just execute it, okay, I got my total, which is this, which we assigned in the micro integrator. Very simple. So I should emphasize now, I'm not going to do, I'm not going to show you how to use a connector inside this, but you can simply use that as well. And for example, you can use the Kafka connector that I showed. You can do the initialization here. You can put your uh, topics, details, and the value that you need to put into a Kafka topic, for example, all done here, but initiated from the micro integrator. So this is a very simple example of how you can interact or make Ballerina and micro integrator or the MI world interact together. Well, that's all I wanted to cover today, and I will see you in another post with various other good details that WSO2 has developed on MI, as well as possibly some new details about this BI as well. Hope to see you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.